Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on my GM prep session as we build a ruin from a prior world. This is an event where I'm attempting to use for the first time the ruin generating engine from Jade Colossus. Let me show you the coolness of that. So, all right, so Jade Colossus is a super cool award-winning book by Bruce Cordell. It sort of covers a lot of ground as a supplement for Numenera, and I haven't nearly gotten to use it as much as I'd like, so I'm excited for this excuse. So it covers kind of a, like a jump start, a quick start to building a campaign around a cool ruin in the Ninth World, and then it details the town at the base of that ruin and some cool places you can go inside it called the Jade Colossus. But then it has this entire back section full of tables and a whole system and interactive kind of mini game for the GM to build out a ruin. And I am especially appreciative for this because I have found that I struggle to make maps, and I find the task of creating a complex structure kind of daunting, and especially in Numenera, keeping it weird. And so I'm really excited to see what kind of weirdness we can create here. And I think it'll be pretty interactive with you chat if you all are willing to put your thinking caps on for me, because there are, it gives you some specifics of different features of a chamber and specifics about a corridor, but there's still a lot of GM interpretation. And I would love to hear weird ideas from you on how to personalize it and even layer on that detail that will make it really come to life. So specifically, I'm just going to pop back in chat. Hello. So specifically, this is for my Echoes Linger campaign, which is a live streamed campaign of Numenera that streams every other Tuesday, and it's super fun because I get the design team of MCG as players, which is fabulous and bizarre. If you scroll down on the Twitch page, their character portraits are actually down below with their names and things. So I don't know where this ruin is going to be. I know there are, I have some ideas, and fans have actually helped me create some ideas for cool obelisks and other floating structures that are outside of the town these PCs are in, which is the town of Bodrov. But also there's this whole strange city and undercity, and so this ruin could, happily be slotted in there. So I'm, at least how I like to prep things, when I don't know like exactly where the players are going to go, I prep little modules and then I see how they slot together when I get there. That's a lot of how I've been prepping for Invisible Sun as well. Just think of some cool locations, some cool NPCs, and they exist in a quantum superposition until I figure out where they were meant to go all along. So that's how I'm going to treat this ruin. But I would love ideas if you, especially if you've seen prior episodes, if you have some ideas on how to tie this ruin in to stuff they've already seen, I am all about that. So without further ado, I guess, thank you so much for joining me. There's a bunch of you already. I very much appreciate it. Let's get to generating some ruins. So I have a little, the GM's handy tool, some graph paper, and a freshly sharpened pencil for mistakes. So I feel that I'm ready. Cool. And I have dice, which is super fun because as a Cypher System GM, I'm very grateful that I don't have to use dice, but sometimes it's nice to get to roll some dice. So got an old Gen Con group there. All right, generating ruins of the Ninth World. Okay, cool. So this ruin mapping engine, the process seems to be, so far as I can tell, because I'm still new to it, is you gather your tools, your pencils and paper and dice, and then you start mapping. And so this engine seems to provide guidance for are you just tagging on a section of a pre-existing ruin? Are you just trying to explore that dark corner that you didn't come up with ahead of time as a GM, or are you trying to build something from scratch? So of course we're trying to build something from scratch, so we will see how that goes. And so it seems that you kind of you think about these ruins in terms of exits and little modules, right? You enter into a new section. There are corridors between sections, and then you flesh out what's happening in the actual section itself. So we will see how that goes. And please feel free to ask me questions and stuff too, although I may not have all the answers. Excellent. So yes, so you initiate mapping by thinking about some exit or entrance where you start. You kind of continue mapping as you go corridor, and then you like figure out where that corridor ends, and then you roll on a main feature table. So I think it's main features connected by corridors. So let's get that started. So many tables. I'm so excited. All right. Okay. So let us start with I'm gonna keep that exit, that first starting point, the first node that we're beginning on in a total question mark right now, because I don't know where we're going to slot it. So total question mark, that first feature. So I'm just going to put a little question mark at the bottom of my map. All right, let us get a corridor, because I think, I want that visual of there's some kind of entrance, and then you have to wind your way not knowing what lies ahead of you. So let us roll on the corridor table. So excited. It would be super fun if any of you end up using this engine. I would love to know how it went for you. I would love to see the maps that come out of it, because that's super fun. A cute little dice. I hope oh gosh, it's nice to be able to roll dice and not fear for what they're going to do to me. This is all fun. Okay, so first I have on this corridor specifics table, I'm going to roll a d20. So this is going to tell me kind of what this passage's deal is. Is it one that turns? Does it go straight? Does it go up and to the left? Is there something? Does it bend you through reality and put you 20 years in the past, etc.? Okay, so I rolled a 6, which gives me the passage extends 20 feet. Roll again. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, cool. Megan used it for the Amber Clave podcast. Solemn Lyrian, is the Amber Clave podcast out yet? Because I've been hyped for that for months now. And 14. Okay, so the passage is going 20 feet, and then it bends right. This is so fun. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I'm probably going to draw a hideous map because I have no talent in this sort of thing, but we will see how that goes. All right, so I'm going to start from this sort of central area in my map. It goes 20 feet. I'm going to use this grid in terms of 10-foot blocks. I bet that Bruce was smart and told me how I should do it, but I'm just making a call. So it goes 20 feet, and then it bends right. Cool. And then I get to exit. Cool. So then I get to exit the corridor. All right, so there's going to be some kind of exit as the corridor goes 20 feet, and there's an exit at the right. So I roll another d20. Oh, I rolled a 1. Cool. Oh, neat. Okay, cool. So what that tells me is there's no additional exits right here. So there's going to be a feature, but this is kind of a dead end that we found. I'm probably misinterpreting some of this, but this is all an experiment, and thank you for experimenting with me. Cool. So let us roll on the chamber feature table. So we are going to, so there's no exit here to like a new sector, but there is going to be a little dead end chamber of some kind. All right, so I'm going to roll on the room size table. Oh my goodness, this is so fun. And I know that a friend of mine, Will, has been talking about taking this series of tables and making it into a little app for personal use. I could totally see how this would be an easy little generator, click some buttons, although there's a satisfaction to rolling the dice that can't be overestimated. Okay, so the room size table, I rolled a d20, and I got a 13. So that gives me, it's 30 feet across. Ooh, cool. And then I roll on the shape table. So it's 30 feet across, and it is a rectangle. Super cool. Wow, this map is not going to be pretty, but that is always going to be the case. Okay, cool. So we found a chamber. It's a little 30 feet across rectangle. And now we need some features. So if anybody, all right, so I'm gonna like come up with some chamber features, but then maybe chat, if you'd be up for it, you could help me kind of flesh that out and add on to it, because this is sort of a big table, but the specifics, of course, remain up to the GM. All right, so this is a die 100, my first of the day. 72. Cool, cool, cool. It is a machine adds metallic eyes to any object. Oh, I'm so happy. Okay, cool. So that's some feature of this table. Oh man, very neat. Cool. So I'm trying to figure out if I... Wow, there's even some like guidance as to what general level things like challenges you encounter in these rules should be. It's not overly, yeah, that's really nice in case I, cool. So whatever they're like, basically, maybe, I guess, so this feature we just rolled, right? There's a machine in here that adds metallic eyes onto any object. If I were trying to thwart that or use it or interact with it or learn how it works or something, it would be a level 5 task. So that's pretty cool. And that might just be for this first table. Blah, blah, blah. Oh my goodness, there's so many tables. Awesome. Okay, so that's chamber feature 1. So there's a machine that adds metallic eyes to any object. And then let's roll on feature table 2. That is a 94. A good year. Oh, cool. White fire burns here, but isn't hot. Objects and creatures that enter the area begin to flame, but do not burn. Oh boy. Okay. So what kind of room is this? So we know 2 things about it. There's a strange white fire that burns everything that comes in it, but does not destroy it and it isn't hot, right? Yep. Cool, that's so wild. And there's a machine that adds eyes to any object. Cool. Names Equipped asks, does it replace the organic eyes? I like the idea that it doesn't necessarily, that it just starts placing eyes at sort of maybe semi-random locations on your person or on your effects. And I guess one question I have about that is, are the eyes actually hooked up to your own nervous system, or do those eyes connect somewhere else? Are they always watching, but it's not feeding information to you, it's feeding information to ? Ooh, Matt DiMolanta asks, could the strange white fire be a ghostly aura? Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, I think we should connect these 2 details, definitely. And Phil of Canada asks whether the eyes are functional or decorative. In my opinion, I think the eyes should at least move, as though they were taking in information, but maybe the question of whether they're functioning or not is fair. Ooh, Names Equipped suggests it could be a ritual chamber. If you braved the fire, you were granted the eyes, proving you could see through the illusion. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, maybe this should, and that kind of suggests stories the PCs could hear about outside of the chamber, right? And outside of this ruin, which I think is super interesting. Like, they're going to hear, a smart group of adventuring explorers in the Ninth World should find out all they can about a place before they go in it, risking certain death, or uncertain death, I suppose. So I think this is definitely a room that they should hear rumors about. So I'm just gonna draw a little arrow and make some notes here on that guy. If I were more organized, I would probably like to do a thing where I label it Chamber A and then have another page that's here are some details of it. But I'm just gonna kind of wing it. What should the machine look like is my question for you. So and I'm gonna draw a little fire emoji situations. Wow, such art. Good job, Darcy. All right, white fire, but not hot, and eye machine. Yeah, I like that it's a test. Ooh, Dub T says to play off the PCs. They will come up with great explanations too. Good point. Yeah, trial room. So, all right. So there's definitely going to be rumors about this that like braving the... Yeah, so I think that you should have to walk through the fire to get to the machine, because I think then it's, you know, the idea of you're seeing through the illusion before you get to the eyes. Brave the fear. Cool. All right. This is so great. Oh, nice. I do like the long-term evil GM thinking of Jordan, that at first the eyes are just weird, but then they start growing roots into you, slowly replacing your body. I think that's super cool. One of my favorite things to do would be, you know, for the beneficial effects of some fantastical body altering situation to be easy to tell at first. So but to have this mysterious, what are the drawbacks? And that could be it. So what can we offer? So I like the idea that the eyes aren't just taking in your average everyday bear, like visual spectrum that humans can have, right? I would like them to be seeing something else. Are they seeing into another dimension? And, you know, maybe if you have like a kind of tech-oriented explorer, they could perhaps like mess around with some ciphers and see if they could get a feed of what that eye is seeing. So even if you can't see it for yourself, maybe you have a view screen that can kind of get you a grainy, iffy image. I really like the idea earlier that we were kind of dealing with like ghostly auras. I'm thinking kind of a trick, you know, my cat Chewy is terrifying and always gets really spooked and like looks just behind me but off to the side, and starts to look very worried. And so the going joke is that he sees ghosts and they're always right behind me. But I kind of would like it if the eyes are watching things that the players can't really see. That is really tempting to me. Ooh. Oh my gosh, so many good ideas. Oh, I like the time idea that Rourke says about the eyes are seeing something that happened in the past as opposed to transdimensional. And I really like that because it ties in nicely with the campaign Echoes Linger, whose start was that the group of PCs, again, whose art and character names and probably sentences are down below the Twitch page. In the city of Echoes, they were implicated in the murder of a local actor, a beloved actor in the theater that they're associated with. And the evidence of their murdering was that there was an echo that played of them. And so there are these kind of replay holograms, ? Of events that happened in the past in Shallamas. And they are believed to be so reputable and so accurate that seeing an echo of someone stealing something is by law treated the same as witnessing them firsthand. Now, whether we believe they certainly believe they were framed, and they certainly believe that they didn't kill anyone. So who knows what's happening? But if you have these eyes that can kind of see into the past, that might be a really big temptation to place in front of them for like basically redeeming their name. I really like this. Ooh, so cool. You have so many good ideas. Oh, goodness. Ultra-terrestrials. Oh, goodness. Okay. If you guys are cool, I think I'm going to make this tie in somehow to the eyes deal with time somehow. And I also want to, I think that is a juicy enough temptation that someone will want to use it, or at least bring it along, and then we'll get that long fuse of this eye, this metallic eye thing will start replacing their body. Cool. All right, this is super good. I am debating whether I want this to be the very first thing they come in on. So I may actually backtrack a little bit and work like through the corridor that I started with and move back around, because I think just in terms of beats, to walk in on that as the first room you get in on, you know, especially if it's like, I'm a floating obelisk in a plane, and then you go up the stairs and suddenly you're at like the big, like important artifact that we're kind of hiding there. So I think I'm going to backtrack a little bit, which is totally doable with this system. So, oh gosh, now I've gotten some temptations of what's further along. There are like creature charts and abhuman colonies. There are situations and explorers you can meet in there. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to stop tempting myself and actually go back to the corridor. Yay. All right, so there was a corridor that went 20 feet, turned right, and entered you into this small but impactful chamber. So let us go back to the corridor and weave our way some other direction. Yay, this is so fun. Oh, and I've already screwed this up a little bit. Main feature table is what rotates you between the sort of broader categories of structures. So I should be, you know, doing, like if I do a corridor, then I go back to this main feature table and I roll on that. And then that tells me whether I'm placing another corridor, chamber, creature, explorers. So that seems to be your sort of anchor landing point, is coming back to this features table. So, I will do that. And it's another percentile. And I'm probably just going to re-watch all of this because, and I'm recording the chat alongside with the video for archiving on YouTube later, because I think I promise you, even if I don't catch your comment tonight, I will look back on it and take a look at all of these later, because these are some great ideas. And, you know, the fun part of prep like this is a great idea you have and then don't get to use it at your game night that week is a great idea you have for future situations. So I'm super happy with what we're doing here. So I rolled 84 on my main feature table, and that brings me to a rupture. Terrifying. Okay, well, first I said I wanted, oh no, that would be cool. There's a rupture, and then there's this little corridor, and then there's the room. So that seems like a cool, tense thing to place ahead of this super cool chamber. So the rupture table's on 121. Oh my goodness, these are terrifying. I'll roll a d20. The hidden cow level. Yes. All right, 17. Oh, this is so fun. Okay. 17, a resin-like whorled secretions. Gosh, secretions. As a snail biologist, this is making me so happy. Oh God, dice down. I can't be trusted. All right, the rupture we've come across is a resin-like whorled secretions cover the area, apparently laid down over months or years by some kind of creature or biological process. That is delightful. Cool. So I guess I want to know, let's see, with ruptures. Ruptures are unplanned gaps, voids, and hollows found within a prior world installation. So they are cool. Ooh, very neat. Okay, so I guess it's a little bit cool. So this rupture table is meant to, like, whatever is happening is sort of laid over the local rooms and corridors and whatevers that are in this area. So I think that corridor that we started with is definitely full of this horrible secretion, which adds another layer, of challenge for the players. So I'm gonna make some squicky marks on this map. So secretions, any ideas for what the nature of the secretion could be, or what it does to people when they touch it? Why is it like a problem? So it's this matte, it's this like layered bit of whorled, I like that, resin-like whorled secretions. So some creature or biological process. So I'm just putting down secretions for right now. Ooh. Time slugs. Very cool. That's very good. Ooh, hallucinations. Yeah. Glowing worms in caves. The secretion is delicious, but empty calories are the real danger. Awesome. Whatever the secretion is, I would like it to, if they are able to get those eyes to look at it, maybe they can get a readout of what had caused that to be created, right? I'm kind of imagining, if any of you have seen The Magicians, there's they get one of those old like slide, those like kids toys that are like big and plastic, and they have those little round like images, like light box images that you you click over, and you look through these different static images with the light coming through this these ocular devices, I guess. I'm sure there's a very normal human word for this, but I totally forget it now. But they enchant one of those to show static images of the past, and so they can kind of scan through time. So I'm almost imagining whatever they can, if they try to get readouts of this, that they can see the thing that created this horrible secretion thing. Viewmaster, bless you. Gosh, words. Excellent. Ooh, I like that these secretions, maybe parts of them are sort of hot and bubbly. Matt DiMolanta says that, but then it turns out the secretions are actually curative. I do like, this is definitely a stylistic choice for me in terms of Numenera, but like Numenera is post-apocalyptic. It's post-apocalyptic probably at least 9 times, right? You have these fallen civilizations that you're building up back onto. So that can, a staple of that genre can be making it really dark, right? But the weirdness of Numenera also gives you these chances to play with expectations and say, even if it's not as likely to find something miraculous as to find something dangerous, it is more likely than in other post-apocalyptic genres. So I like playing with expectations and things that might look menacing to you based on your and my sort of understanding of Earth today. That could lead you astray, and something menacing might actually be friendly. So I really like that. That's kind of Miyazaki too, right? Big scary bug creatures, but actually they're very warm and fuzzy and gentle. Cool. Oh, cool. Yeah, I like the idea that the secretions, so I like that they're like hot and bubbling and spooky looking. Spooky, but curative up to a point. Awesome. I'm going to go in search of my die that I threw violently across the room, and then we will continue. I feel like I don't want to spend too much time more on the secretion because I want to get to the next room. So hang on. Okay. Also, one thing I would love to hear from chat, although there's enough of me looking at tables that I might not get to it right away, is if you have built any really cool ruins in the past, I would love to know some like good kind of ruin or structure moments that you've had in the past, and like cool ideas that I might want to steal wholesale and of course attribute you. Cool. All right. All the rooms are secretions now. That's legit. That's what you get with the Darcy experience. Okay, so we just rolled a rupture. That was this cool, strange, healing, resin-like secretion. Now we want to roll on the main feature table again and see what comes up next. Cool, I'm so excited. All right, we're rolling on the D100. Boop. 58. Ooh. Okay, that is another chamber. Lovely. 88. Cool, so after this kind of short corridor that's covered in this strange, ominous looking secretion that secretly is actually kind of beneficial, you reach a chamber. So, okay, so room size and room shape again. So it is a 15-foot across. Rectangle again. Cool. So we're going to move that over. All right, so they're coming upon a chamber, 15 feet across, and a rectangle. Neat. I'm not good at drawing rectangles. All right. Okay. It does say like some of the features of chambers, like some chambers that are discovered are going to be empty. So I'm trying to figure out how I determine whether a chamber is empty. Or it's possible that we are... Okay, it looks like that's kind of up to me. Like, do I want an interesting room here or not? And if you're like, this is a good time for like a super weird chamber, then you roll on the features table. That's cool. So let's make this one not too interesting, but let's do something with it. So chat, what could we put in this chamber that's ahead of this kind of like climax of what I'm imagining the players might want out of this ruin, which is this time-related eye machine situation. And it's before they have this, this trial by white fire and the secretion, the spooky boiling secretion area. So what's something that that wouldn't be too crazy, so that it wouldn't be too overly interesting so that the players get stuck there, but it's kind of ominous and hints at what's to come. Very true. I should be rolling on exit tables for each room, but so far I only have one corridor and I rolled that the one room with the fire has no exits. So I needed a chamber, but I will roll on the exits after this. So what can we put in here? Ooh, I like that. Dozens and dozens of pots with discarded mummified eyes from names equipped. Cool. Ooh, Other Doc says vending machines, coffee dispenser, right. If any of you have played Horizon Zero Dawn, I love it. It's a very Numenera game, but it's kind of more recent to Earth's fall, right? And so it's got skyscrapers with like regular office buildings and stuff. But yeah, keeping in mind that I wonder if we could do something that is inspired, like as a GM, by this is the rec room of like a very boring office, but like make it have gotten weirder enough over the years that the players won't realize that's what it is. I think putting a bunch of strange eyes, mummified eyes, especially if those are like offerings by people who have journeyed here before, would be really cool. Yeah, let's see. Oh, there's gotta love AIs. Ooh, cool. Yeah, I think this should be kind of a strange rec room that has been turned into a like kind of sacred space where people will leave things who aren't going to journey to the end of that room and who are too afraid of the fire to go on. So I think there should be like, what's a classic feature of an office, I guess. So there should be some like cabinet sort of things. So there should be maybe some metal panels and a surface, the thing, the countertop you'd put the microwave on, right? So there's some panels up above. There's a surface. There is like some kind of chair, right? Like some place to sit. So, but we need to make those all weird. So panels, surface, and then mummified eyes, and sort of weird Numenera ever burning, or let's say it's not ever burning, but it's occasionally relit. What would you call them in? Apparently, I've forgotten all my Earth words. I guess like braziers, right? Just sort of a low tech. Let's not turn up the weirdness too much here because we're about to turn up the weirdness. I like to vary that if possible. Ooh, strange species. Okay. Oh yeah, I love. This is from Matt DiMolanta. I like that there would be mummified eyes and things, but then you'd get visual organs from a bunch of different species. I like that a lot. Fossilized bagels, motivational posters, super funny. Yeah, I like that. There should be something that's a recreational thing. You know, I'm trying to get off of the hollow chest thing, but it's so good. Passive aggressive notes. Ooh, yeah. I think there should be strange writing on the walls, right? A lot of you are coming up with good ideas about motivational posters and charts. So strange writing on the walls. My players are going to be so mad when they realize what this is. I love it. Oh, good point. Throw in some oddities. Oh, super cool. Yeah, I love that. Okay, cool. So this is the secret office. I should come up with snarky names for these for my internal use. This is so fun. Okay, so let's find out what kind of exits exist in this chamber. So exit table is a D20. That's a 16. There's one additional exit and one sealed exit. Cool. So, and I guess I guess this is how this works out. They don't tell me where to place these exits. And so I was worried that just so you can all see my terrible map so far. Let's see. Look at this chaos. Do you see my fire emoji? Right there. It does not look at all like a fire emoji. That's okay. I'll know what it means, and that's the important part. So what's nice about the exit table is that it just gives you the number of exits and gives you some ideas, but you place them wherever you want. So you won't end up making a map that gets multiple corridors working over each other and writing yourself into a corner. So that's very, very good. Let's see. Okay, so I have one that's sealed and one that's not. So I'm going to make one that's sealed, and I'm just going to put like an X through it. So I made a little like door box. Okay, so that's one exit, and then we'll make the unsealed one. I'm actually going to make this not quite a rectangle, but sort of have a fifth side that's off to the side so that it's easier for me to draw. All right, another door or exit of some sort. Cool. All right, so we've got 2 ways to go there. So let's go back to the main feature table. This is so cool. 50. That is a chamber, which makes sense. There should be rooms. All right, gonna roll room size. This is gonna be the unsealed, the like open way. So I rolled 3 and 17. So a closet-sized rectangle. Cool. So this one's gonna be real tiny. So that's the open exit. So they're gonna have to get through the sealed doors, which is interesting. Then I'm gonna move where that went because I wanted that to be the closet side. Cool. 2 exits. 1 is a chamber with a closet. And so let's put a thing in there. Let's see. Oh, good point. The temptation that players have to, if you have interesting room after interesting room, having a room where like there's really nothing here can lead their paranoia onto overdrive, which you can totally use to your advantage. And I guess my perspective too is that with Numenera, maybe to our players, maybe to our characters, they could enter a room and say, oh, there's really nothing I see a value here. But to our players, because we live on Earth, any room should have some little detail of something that's strange about it, right? Because like, I don't know, I just feel like it's not very Numenera to say there's nothing interesting about this room. There might be nothing interesting about this room to your character, but as you, Darcy, living in the 21st century, there's something a little strange about it. So that's always my hope. So let's put something like, okay, so this is the closet. Okay, so this is definitely an office storage closet, right? This is definitely a little, the toilet paper and paper towels and coffee and cleaning supplies of this office were once here. So what's there now? Ooh, a black hole-based disposal unit. Disposal is a very cool idea. Oh, interesting. Yeah, Other Doc has a cool idea about if this ruin is a semi-religious or spiritual site, there might be a device to help supplicants get prepared with whatever spiritual entity or system they're channeling here. That's super cool. Ooh, oh, very, very good. So I would like to combine an idea. Oh, good point. We should put some secret rooms in here, but I don't think this room is the perfect one for it. So I like, let's see, Rourke's idea and Other Doc's idea. Who had the idea for the disposal unit? Names equipped. Excellent. So I would like it to be this is a disposal unit, okay? But I want it to be a creature, right? A just ravenous, strangely shaped, perhaps super engineered creature so that its body is just all gullet that opens up on that entrance from the room. And so you throw your trash in and it gets, you see the peristaltic motion of the throat closing on whatever goes in there. God forbid, maybe it's a PC who goes in there. So that could be a really fun thing. So I think this should be a creature disposal unit. Yeah, it's a Sarlacc. Sarlaccs are great. What if this creature... I feel like this creature's gullet should probably take you to a place, right? Like, or maybe the creature is just the... Yeah, I think if a character gets... Oh, what if it has a tongue? Because then it can grab PCs, and that's horrible. Can I have a tongue? I think it can have a tongue. Okay, so this door situation is going to be a creature has a tongue, and when the PCs are sort of exploring this super basic office room with weird eyes and stuff, it is going to open up like an aperture, the space in front of the gullet, I guess it's mouth or lips, if you would call it that, and it's going to try to grab one of the PCs. So where should it take them? So that's a GM intrusion, which is awesome. Oh, the tongue should feel dry. Like that. The question is how many tongues? You're totally right. Tongues. You should definitely have more than one tongue. Oh, beautiful. Jordan, welcome back to Gullet Talk. This is our weekly talk show where we talk about horrible creature gullets, because I have a lot to say on the subject. Yeah, and Rourke, I'm thinking about this room like a pipe in Mario, so I think it should dump you somewhere else. So I'm gonna mark this like I'm with a weird spiral, and then when I draw that shape again somewhere else on the map, that's where it will like drop you. And I don't feel particularly beholden to make that make sense in a geographical sense, because I think it's probably like a weird, space is bent over, and secretly we are all inside this horrible creature's gullet or whatever. So I just made a little spiral, and so I'm gonna make a note to myself of like, place that other spiral somewhere. Yay, gullets. Oh, neat. The tongue is very Velcro-y from Dev 3388, and so it will stick to cloth. I like that. So, tongue, Velcro. Tongues, Velcro, and I don't know what color to make them. Maybe different colors? Maybe kind of translucent, and you can see the blood or I guess hemolymph, right? Invertebrate blood, like coursing through it. That's good and horrible. Good. I have to show you all. At some point, we're going to have to do some Twitch events where we just talk about our favorite squicky creatures, because I am definitely channeling the ice cream cone worm, I believe it's called. They are tube building worms, and they're just super delightful little marine creatures. They gather up sand and they add it very gently to their little tube that looks like the waffle part of like an ice cream cone. And they've got all of these little tentacle things that sort of extend out and go squeegeeing around for sand. And then they sort of take an individual sand particle and they'll move it up their tentacle to sort of go get added to the sticky stuff and get added to the thing. And they're just very charming, delightful. And they've got these gold scales on their heads. They're just beautiful. So I'll have to show you guys some pictures. Oh, yay. I'm so glad you are getting on my weird creature train. Okay, so this room has the not sealed exit that leads into that gullet creature, which brings you somewhere else into the facility. And then it has a sealed door, which is sort of how you get into this whole part of the map that we've drawn so far. So what is in that sealed, what does that sealed door lead to from where we're at? So I'm going to roll on the main features table. I could use another corridor eventually. And you know, if your map needs another corridor, or if you feel like thematically you need another corridor, I don't feel, I'm sure there's advice in here that suggests, yep, here it is. I even found the sentence. Oh, Bruce, you're so great. Making calls and interpreting results. Despite the fact that random dice play a central role in the mapping process, the system presented here is not designed to be fully deterministic. The tables are meant as a robust guide and flavorful inspiration for creating interesting situations and encounters for characters. But it falls to use the GM to interpret the results and modify them to create logical and fun maps. So, in that spirit, I'm getting a corridor, okay? Can't tell me what to do, book. All right, D20. A 10, okay. The passage extends a short distance. You know, for the logistics of all the notes that I've placed in this space, I'm going to roll again, because a 10. Okay, I see how it is, book. You are insistent. All right, so this corridor should be really short, but I'm making it a little longer because my map is horrible looking, because I'm a very bad drawer. So if I can make a map that is usable, then anyone can. I guess one thing I would suggest in hindsight is to maybe use, like, if you're using kind of fine graph paper like I am, I would maybe use each square is like 5 foot as opposed to 10 foot, because I think things are getting a little cramped with the 10 foot. And, you know, I guess I don't want to make that giant of a facility. So that would be my hot tip. Okay, let's find out some specifics of this little corridor passage. So, corridors. What's fancy about you, corridor? Oh, I don't think anything's supposed to be fancy about this. Correct. Cool. So there are some things in here that seem to overlay rooms and corridors, and that's how you get more features in your, this is just a hallway, because there's, you know, maybe there's a rupture and that is placed over a couple adjacent rooms and the corridors in between. And so we have a corridor that extends as far as it needed to make my map not look horrible anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna roll on the exit table, because I wonder if, I think it would be kind of cool. I want to know, are there some secret passages here, or is there just the exit at the end? So I rolled a 15 and it says 2 additional exits. Oh, so I'm probably doing exits a little bit wrong anyway. So I think there should always be an exit if you are intending for there to be this to be part of the continuous part of the ruin. And in addition, there should be, this is determined that there are 2 extra. So I'm going to say that this corridor kind of goes around and snakes a little bit, and there's sort of the end of this hallway situation. Ooh, it looks like there's some good advice here. So let me jump back in on you guys. You guys are so great. Oh, Jordan, make us some map templates, or give us your, give me some fire emojis to drop onto maps. This would be a super fun thing to do in like Roll20 or something. If Darcy had gotten her life together early enough in advance, so that we could kind of place things and map it out together. But then you'd have to look at my horrible visual instincts. So maybe someone else can do that, and I will support you in every way I can. Yeah, and names equipped. That's a great point. And this book is very careful about not saying hallways, doors. It's a corridor. It's a place in between, and that can take whatever form it needs to. And the same with exits. They're not saying doors. I keep, thinking about them first as doors, but that's just because I'm lazy. Oh, someone subscribed. Thank you. That's very lovely. Yeah. If you are interested in more weird events like these, and Darcy shows pictures of strange creatures and possibly shows them off live, which is my real life goal, you should follow the channel so you can be informed of weird stuff we do. Yes, but you can put a teleportation circle and start elsewhere on the page. Yeah, Numenera is very freeing in that way. Cool. Sounds like there's some great idea for this. Oh, Levi Tompkins suggests that there's sort of the carpet is soft land coral. Ooh, goodness. These are so cool. Beauty Mark Studio, yes, we are building from the Jade Colossus book. And I am learning all, as I go. Yay. Oh, neat. Jordan has a great idea. Tracing paper sounds super smart. So you can have overlays you can switch between. That's really neat. And if you have a lot of time, crochet your map. Thanks, Rourke. Okay, cool. I'm getting back to that. This sounds so fun. All right, but for right now, we have a long corridor with some exit at the end and 2 additional exits. So I find myself very inspired by Die Hard when I think about like ruins and structures that you're kind of exploring around. I know that like 3D space can, sort of mapping out structures where you're going up and into vents and stuff can get kind of messy, but I also think it's worth it. And like Die Hard, or in The Force Awakens when Rey is scavenging and she's dropping down this enormous shaft and she's inside a giant AT-AT, like, oh, that stuff just makes me so happy. So I think at least one of these additional exits should be either up or down or some other direction that's not just like, you take a left here. So what ideas do we have? Yeah, AC vents, exactly. All right. Ooh, oh, very cool. Other doc. An unusual exit might be an old dry fountain of some kind that needs to be crawled through to reach the next room. Oh yeah, living creature. These are really, really great ideas. I should get some tracing paper. Apparently that's very good. Fantasy brutalist architecture. Yes. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a good idea. Happy CU1234. Yes, and Rourke, now you understand why I might love Rey so much, is because she's so Numenera. So I like this idea from Happy CU that there might be a little bit of a system across this ruin where and so their suggestion is that there might be different colors for different types of passages, like blue for air ducts. Oh, you're thinking on the GM side. That's super smart. And it is almost as though I kind of prepared for this a little bit. I have some highlighters. I have a lot of colored expo markers, which is probably what I'm going to use on some grid paper with dry erase later on. But see previous discussion, Darcy didn't get her life together in time. But for now, I've got some very, very assorted, strange colored color pencils and highlighters. So I'm going to highlight that, like that strange gullet transportation system. So that's going to be green. Maybe we could pick a couple gullet endpoints, And then, yeah, I'm going to make a blue mark that is some kind of shaft or well, I had recently done Shanna's character 2 sessions ago had like uncovered in this road they were on. She was able to like pry up this hexagonal panel that's sort of making up the road, and she found that there's a whole like subsystem of something down there. So why don't we make this one go up instead? So this is going to be an overhead like shaft of some sort or something. This is going to be a passage that leads up. I think the gullet should end in multiple locations. I don't know how to adjudicate that yet, but that's for future Darcy. Oh man, you guys, we are definitely making a horrible, magic school bus. We've all been turned tiny and are in this horrible biomechanical creature. If we give this thing an actual heart room, it's very Numenera. I love it. Oh, a pneumatic tube. That's a great idea. Cool. So that's going to lead you to some kind of strange tube. And man, the instinct to make everything make sense on an architectural level is strong with me. I just drew a corridor that didn't need to be drawn because I'm a fool. Okay, cool. So I'm making this little blue endpoint so that pneumatic tube will suck you up and take you somewhere. We'll find out. Oh gosh, I do love the Citizene suggestion that the walls of the tube are plastic and form hands that pull people up, like the labyrinth. That's a very cool visual. Yeah, it's more interesting than just sucking you up too. So you are, how can I describe that? Some of this process is also helpful for there's the side of my brain that is figuring out as a GM what I know about the reality of the situation, and then there's what I present the players, and learning how to say that correctly that keeps the right amount of mystery. And I don't always get it right. In fact, a lot of times I get it wrong, and it doesn't matter because you're on to the next cool new weird thing in Numenera, which is also something that I love about how forgiving it is. Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, M. Di Malanta also says that the hands pulling you up that tube and shaft means it's one way. This is zany and I can't get enough of it. Okay, so I'm making a big arrow. This is the this is the hand conveyance device. Oh, I love that. Ooh, this is so fun. Ooh. Oh my gosh, the idea that these players are being used as antibodies by the structure. Can we make that canon? I think I have to make that canon if that's cool. Because maybe, and so that gives me an idea for a hook of why you'd want to enter the structure, right? So the whole overarching idea for this campaign was that the players get cast out of Shallamas because they are framed for a murder that they did not commit. And the Aeon priesthood sort of steps in and says, these people can be redeemed. Let's let them go on this spiritual journey where they walk through the path of Colaval. So the original Amber Pope, the guy who started the Aeon priesthood and all sorts of stuff, has a bunch of, there's the Amber monolith and a bunch of other cool, strange structures and places and objects that he's associated with. If they can go find some really juicy piece of information about one of these and bring it back to the Aeon priesthood, they'll be forgiven, maybe. And so one thing that could be cool is whatever the structure might be, maybe it did a function that was of use to people who were around it, or at least was interpreted as spiritually right and the way Colaval wanted it to be, or whatever. And if something changed, the PCs could perhaps go back in and fix it, right? And I like the idea that they might be functionally antibodies that are, yeah, cool. Okay, I have an idea. Man, this is so inspiring. I'm really excited by this. This is very lovely. What if the players are really interested in the eyes that will let you see into the different time periods, right? They know that machine is rumored to be in there, and people used to be able to get to this section of the ruin, but basically this ruins oh gosh, its immune response. It got sick or something invaded, and it started closing off certain corridors. And you are going through clearing the problems, and it won't let you into the next area until you deal with its issue, right? That would be super fascinating. Yeah, the building wants you to succeed. That's super fun. Ooh, the hands are ferrofluid. Oh, that's very good. It's very good, Solomarian. That's a good. It also like helps. Sometimes I worry about using inspirations that are from a movie that I'm afraid people will recognize, but if you add just a couple details to make it different enough. Ferrofluid hands. Awesome. These are great ideas. Oh, yes. Ooh, so good. Okay. So, Kalaval symbiotes. Very cute. You're all lovely. Cool. So those are some good, like, big scale ideas. So let's continue the mapping process. Oh my gosh, it's already been an hour. Sorry this is taking long. There's just, I feel really good about this so far because these different areas are really juicy, right? And if I was doing this by myself and like my players are going to be none the wiser if I only did this much and kind of filled in the gaps narratively and said, right, so like if I took only this map in between rooms or corridors, I could just sort of improvise something in case if I wanted to elongate it, right? I could just, a lot of times I'm improvising rooms anyway, so this could be my general structure and I can accordion that out where it needs to be. So I guess let's figure out two more things, which would be, where does the gullet lead you? So let's like determine a space that does, and where do the ferrofluid hand tubes bring you? So yeah, let's like flesh out those two spaces, and then I'll connect them somehow and give it an overall structure exit, and we're kind of in business. This is super fun. Okay, so I'm going to roll on the main feature table to just drop something over there. I probably want it to be kind of a chamber or something, but a corridor will do. Okay, cool. So it drops you in some kind of space. This is the gullet. So I'm just making a big circle because I want it to be circular. And it's going to bring you on a corridor. So rolling a d20 again. That corridor extends 20 feet, and roll again. Oh, cool. All right, so it's going to go 20 feet in a direction of my choosing. And then I rolled a 19, which gives us a new corridor option. A passage runs a short distance and comes to a T intersection, and roll on the table for each branch. So we have a T intersection. Yay. Cool. So there's a short distance side, and there is a 20 feet and roll again side, and a 20 feet and roll again side, and a lot longer. So there's a real long passage. Okay, so there's one real short passage, and there's one real long one. Cool. And let's do a main feature table. And if something new doesn't pop up, I'm going to pick something new. Well, that threat has gotten the dice to cooperate. So I rolled a 94. That is going to be a matter leak. Oh, super cool. Which could be fun if this might be one of the problems that the structure wants the antibody PCs to solve, right? Because we're sort of eking our way toward the actual entrance of the structure. Okay, so a matter leak table. A matter leak is a discharge of a fluid, powder, liquid, or collection of complex parts or components that is spilled from one area into another not meant to contain it. Super cool. So it can be fluid, it can be piled up, it can be ongoing. All right, so it is in a neat. Super cool. All right. I'm going to roll again to figure out if the leak is sort of coming from another corridor, a chamber, or something else. I rolled a 36, which is going to be, it's coming from a chamber. So I'm not going to determine what the chamber is quite yet. I'm just going to kind of make a little something. And now we're going to get to the juicy bits, which is what kind of matter is leaking. 60 gets us hundreds of metal and glass spheres with tiny silver wires leading from the back. They resemble disembodied human eyes. Okay. This might make me rethink my idea that the eyes that are the machine puts on you might actually replace your human eyes, and this is where all the human eyes go. That's really gross. That's lovely. Oh, cool. Monte Cook might be magic. Bruce Cordell apparently also has the magic bug within him. Super cool. Okay, so this is the like human eye storage. So on the off chance that the PCs get to that end before they get to this, they would find, if they exchanged one of their eyes for the metallic eye, then they would see their own here. Super cool. To guard against that, I might make myself a little asterisk, like narrative note, to say whoever they talk to, if they talk to some NPCs ahead of time, one of them should have an old metal eye, right? From before this structure stopped working or stopped letting people in. And whatever color their other eye should be really distinctive so they can see its partner in here. So they know that's what's happening. So one of the eyes has what's like some distinctive eye features. You can have kind of flecks of gold, maybe this person just happens, like their family happens to have they have the black iris, right? Wow, I'm good at my words. No. Okay, yeah, so they've got the black people colored iris, and then in between the white part of the eye and the colored, there's another black like ring, I guess. Just something distinctive, so they're like, wow, this is definitely Roger's eye in here. Super cool. Square pupils. Oh, you guys are great. Glowing purple accents, writhing oily tendrils. Ugh. Oh, goat irises. Those are super intense. Bloodshot, but the wrong color. Oh, these are such great eyes. Okay, this is exactly why I'm going to rewatch this video before I like kind of finalize my map and finalize whatever session we're doing. Okay, so this is where the gullet drops you off. So there's one section that leads you to that eye storage. And maybe I'm trying to look at it, like maybe the way back is that those horrible ferrofluid hands, maybe that other part of the corridor, the other T intersection, might eventually lead you to that hands area so that it's a ring. So I think I want to build a little more. Yeah. Super cool. Okay. I'm going to put another corridor, or I'm going to put another end something on this like T intersection part of the map so that the only ways to and from it are through the gullet or the ferrofluid hands, and the actual like entrance that I expect the players to kind of be coming into this structure is I'm going to roll on a corridor or something else to give them a room before the entrance. Cool. So to make that actually make sense to anyone, here's my horrible map. All right, so we have, listen up class. Okay, so blue is the ferrofluid diehard, like let's go in the air vents tubes. So this is when I said, I guess I need to draw this for no reason. So brings you somewhere, and I'm probably gonna make that somewhere in this like totally disambiguated part of the map where it's the eyes, sort of eye storage area, and here's where the gullet drops you out, and then something, and probably a ferrofluid entrance exit here. Super cool. Numenera does make it very easy and fun to have very separate little modules of the map. So that's actually something I will want to keep in mind for the future. So I'm going to generate 2 more structures. One that's the something that the ferrofluid hands will like basically be able to take you out of that disambiguated part of the map. So let's roll on the feature table, or just pick something. I mean, there's so many tables we haven't even touched here. Wow. There's all sorts of stuff like interstitial cavities, explorers, shaft, abhuman colony, integrated machine is a whole section. Weird event, vault, relic chamber. Okay, I'm not gonna roll. I'm gonna pick one of these cool things. That is my right. Darn it. Cool. Is anyone particularly excited by one of these tables? So I'm kind of intrigued by vault. I think that sounds pretty cool. Or possibly explorers, whatever that table is. Like maybe people had been sent here a little bit before and the PCs can encounter them. Ooh, a weird event. Okay, let's take a look at a weird event. So that's 126. And just for reference, if you were kind of trying to use deterministic die rolling for this section, that only happens on a 98. So it's supposed to be, it's gonna be pretty weird. I'm so excited. This is so fun. Now, the danger, of course, is that we're gonna make this beautiful ruin together, and then the PCs are going to somehow bypass it entirely. So it is quite possible. But then, you know, I still have that map for some other game I'll run or something. So we shall see. Okay, I'm gonna roll a d20. A 16. Oh, Lord. These are intense. Boop. Oh, cool. What? Okay. 16. Tech in the character's possession designed to provide directions or information, including ciphers, artifacts, or oddities, spontaneously activates. Otherwise, so if they don't have some cipher or device that's supposed to give you information, like your Pokedex, a handheld device owned by a character, regardless of its function, activates with a previously unknown function that shows a representation of the PC's location and a pointer, indicating that they should follow a route through a hidden passage they'd not previously discovered. If they follow this weird prompt, they discover a shaft plunging down for several miles, at the bottom of which is an abhuman colony. Roll on the abhuman colony table. All the abhumans have been murdered as if hit by something large and fast-moving, and that something, a level 6 creature of the GM's choosing, now hunts the PCs. That's terrifying. Oh, thank you for the sub, Dubty. Yay. Wow, that's terrifying. I feel like that's a pretty cool event, though. Let's do it. All right, so this chamber is going to have some details, but whenever they walk in here, and I might roll on the like chamber feature table just to give it some fluff. So I'm going to give this mark like a little star. I'm going to color it some color so that I don't. So my use of color is not because I have any great artistic skills, but just because if things don't really stand out, I will just like cruise along and then not realize that I walked the PCs right into something that they shouldn't be in yet. So I'm making this red star is the weird event. So something activates. And I kind of like the idea that it's something personal to them. So if anyone's seen the show and knows some things the PCs are carrying, I would love some suggestions. Are Ewoks level 6 creatures? Yay. Cool. Ooh, this is so fun. Yay. I wanted to say, chat, thank you so much for joining me and being so enthusiastic and helpful. I don't run a lot of campaigns on my own, and so I find that if I'm just creating in a vacuum, I just vastly prefer being able to go back and forth and to toss out a seed of an idea that I don't feel is cool enough yet, and then to see it get changed into something cool by bouncing off of each other. So this is super helpful for me. Thank you. Okay, so this is going to be they get shown their direction on a map. There's an arrow, secret passage somewhere, mile-long shaft, or miles, several miles. Gosh. Murdered abhumans, and creature hunting them. Yay! That's so cool. Okay, and finally, there is one. I just want to know what the chamber that they enter in on, or an early chamber when they first come into the structure, will look like. Ooh, you know what? No. How about we do something cooler, Darcy? How about we roll on the explorer situation table? Why don't we put some explorers here who had previously like gone in and come back out, but now there are all these problems that have arisen. So I'll probably have to like add some like problems in the corridors, right? Maybe some doors or challenging. I'll have to figure out some way to manifest that something in this, I'll have to figure out like what new changes have happened that seem to be a manifestation of like the current problem compared to just the usual weirdness. So 66. This is exactly the one I wanted. Ha, good, because I saw it on the table and I was like, whew. Okay, so one of the explorers is a cartographer and wants to see any maps the characters have made. In return, they offer to show the PCs their maps. I think that's super cute. I love cartographer NPCs. And actually, what a great tie-in. Something we set up in the city that the PCs are in right now is that there's a like nano cartographers guild or society. And part of the reason that's its whole like a whole complex situation is because, geography in the ninth world is ever moving. And, we've been trying to keep maps on a 2D surface, and it's gotten difficult even here. So understandably, good cartographers who can deal with the wackiness of ninth world reality bending and time bending nonsense, those people would be very highly acclaimed. And so let's put a member of that society they've already met, which is super cool. Nano cartographer. I love that. Yay. Okay. Oh, yay. All right. I'm going to show you one more time, and I would take a picture and put it up on the website, but I'm afraid my players might see it. So I'll have to think about how to handle this. Okay. So we've got you enter here. Boop. There's the nano cartographer. Let me get my pointer. There is some manner of like hallways and things. Maybe here is where the if we are thinking of this structure as kind of a living organism, maybe here is where it's set up a lot of barriers to keep other contaminants like like explorers from entering. Later on in this hallway is the ferrofluid hands, which lead you somewhere, and I forgot to draw that somewhere is the room where it happens. That somewhere is the room with the weird event. So I'm going to just make one more mark to remind myself that that's where people can get dumped to and from. Cool. So that's the ferrofluid corridor. Super fun. Would drop you off here where you would see the weird event with the getting a map and getting told to go somewhere, and then you see a lot of mayhem, and then you get hunted down. If you go back to this sort of T intersection, further along up here is where the eyes, the sacrificed human eyes, still live in this horrible situation. Okay, and then the weird event or the gullet will take you. I'm not sure if the gullet should be one way. I think I would kind of want to make it two way, or maybe I'll make the gullet end whichever way makes more sense, right? I'll just keep it in quantum superposition until I decide if the mouth of the creature should be here or over here. All right, so let's say it was there. You get devoured and put over here into this tiny, horrible closet, this waste bin closet. Then you're in the office, which is super cool and full of mummified eyes from different creatures and strange writing and secretly bad motivational posters. Then you get into the weird secretion corridor that is boiling, but is actually kind of nice and healing, at least up to a point. And then you get to our final chamber, the chamber that they've wanted to get to, which is full of white fire that does not burn, but is very spooky. And I might even call for a roll to like overcome your body's natural reaction not to walk into fire. It might. I'll have to see how I want to play that. But then at the end, there is a machine, and it will, using it in some capacity, will replace one of your eyes with one of these fantastical machine eyes that will let you, that see through different phases of time. And so, since I'm putting that at the end of this whole enormous facility, I might just have it actually hook up to your nervous system just fine, so that people, this is sort of their treasure at the end. But I will have it slowly start changing them over time as well. Yeah, and I can put this map up, or hopefully the better version of it up, after we've played through it, which would be great. Or I can just, tell my PCs not to go look at that map. I'll have to figure out how to do that. Yay. Okay. This is so delightful. Oh, Rourke, the eyes might still be alive looking for their old owners. That's horrible. Oh, good. Yes, you guys are so great. Thank you so much. I think we will call it here. I doubt it is possible this ruin will get started next session, which is this coming Tuesday, a week from today at 5 p.m. PDT. But I more suspect it would be the session after that it really gets going. So that's my heads up there. We have a lot of other cool things going on this week, though, that I would love it if you would tune in for. On Wednesday, I will be running A Woman with Hollow Eyes, which is an Invisible Sun narrative on the One Shot Podcast Network, which is super fun. And we will have Tanya DePass there as a guest. And so Tanya is an incredible voice in video gaming and tabletop gaming. She runs I Need Diverse Games, and she's just like sharp as all get out, and I've loved her performances on some one-shot podcasts, so I'm really excited to get to have her on, and I have a plan for who she's going to be, so get excited. On Thursday at 5 p.m. PDT, I will be doing a super cool conversation with Monte Cook. We're kind of calling a series your best game ever, right? And so it's going to be topics on this fantastic hobby that we all have, right? Tabletop gaming, both as a player and as a GM. There are so many ways to improve. And of course, there are lots of different techniques that might be right for different situations, but there's so much to learn in this hobby. And so he and I are gonna, at least for this first episode, talk about randomness in gaming, okay? Which is super fun because we just had a whole exercise on randomness in gaming. And his tenet that we are going to explore together is the idea of the piece of advice: don't randomize fun. So randomization can lead to super fun things, but you don't want to have how do you unhitch the enjoyment of your game from the randomness, right? And so we had sort of a pre-conversation about that already, and I'm really excited to talk about that. So definitely come for that. It's going to be fairly system neutral. So if you have any friends who are interested in GM advice and a little bit of game design with respect to randomness, please invite them. So that's Thursday, 5 p.m. PDT. And on Friday, of course, we have The Raven Wants What You Have, Invisible Sun streamed campaign. And it's going to be a very exciting one that involves like a fighting match, like a fight match that involves magic and is great and in a bar, and there's nothing I love more than all of that. So please come watch that. It'll be super fun. And the GM and the players are in chat live watching the recorded session. So if you ever wanted to kind of geek out with Monte and Shanna and Sean and myself, that's a great way to do it. And on Sunday, yay, the second episode of The Owl of Lycia will be going live. That's at 2 p.m. PDT on Sunday. And that is our an asset team member is running that, Marcy Vellin, and it's a custom setting and it's a custom Cypher system world. It's super cool. It's got its own, Marcy's drawn all this art for it and a cool map. And yeah, we had our first episode this past Sunday, and the second episode will be this Sunday. So do tune in. They would appreciate it. And it's just a super fun time, really delightful players. Yeah, and then a week from today, join me for Echoes Linger at 5 p.m. PDT on Tuesday. So I'm going to work to see if I can't get them, like, I'm going to definitely seed the hints of this location for them that session. So come see how I do that. And yeah, thank you so much. Follow us on Twitter. I'm going to make the little like follow message go. Follow. Tell your friends, tell your friendly woodland animals, follow and subscribe, and go make beautiful games and tell great stories. And please come, at Monte Cook Games, tell us about cool ruins you've used or good ideas you have or suggestions you have for, making maps that are prettier than mine or anything related to this. I would love to take that advice and retweet it, and so more people can have even better games. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody. I really, really appreciated this. This is super fun.